Hi, Robert. Let me know when you can hear me. Looks like you're in, but your audio and video haven't fully connected just yet. So let me know when you're good to go on your side. Hmm. Uh, oh, that's okay. We can troubleshoot for a minute. Oh, do you want to maybe restart Zoom then, like leave and come back in, or?
I got it.
Oh,
Can you hear
perfect. Great. There we go. Every now and then that happens where, the tech gets a little ornery. I'm
me?
glad we got it going. How's it going today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Did you have a good weekend?
Today is actually the beginning of my weekend.
Oh, got it. Okay, that's nice. That's
So
good.
far, I thought it was a good start.
That's great. So, alrighty. So then what would you say for today would be the main goal? Do you want to keep working on the book? Do you want to work on editing skills? Do you want to work on audition? What sounds good to you?
So, there's a few questions I have about things that I wasn't sure were
Sure.
possible typos,
Oh yeah.
um, or maybe they just looked weird to me. But let me go
Yeah.
pull those up.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, I feel like sometimes there are things that are obvious typos. Sometimes there are things that are abbreviations. Like if there's something like a word is misspelled or they're like flip-flopped around, I might just fix that. Because sometimes I'll read a book and I'll read it exactly as written, and they'll say, "Oh, that word should be this," so they'll have me go back and fix it anyway.
Yeah,
Um, Generally speaking, I would say they're copyrighted and intellectual property. So typically you want to do it exactly as written, but also sometimes there are abbreviations. Like a student was auditioning for something just like yesterday, I think, and it was EXT and it was exterior. So like if he just said ext, that would sound weird. So like you have to say exterior.
yeah,
And it's better if it's written out the way that we want it to sound, but sometimes we uh, fix or embellish or whatnot to make it sound like what we want it to. But yeah, if there are obvious typos, I would say just fix them, make it make sense.
yeah, yeah. I understand what you mean. Just trying to find where that was now. I should have pulled this up
Yeah.
earlier.
Yeah, was it one that like you pretty much knew what it was supposed to say? Or was
There was
it like a
one.
phrase repeated or something like
There was one where it I feel like I knew what it was supposed to say, and there was another
yeah.
one where I just didn't understand it. I was like,
Ah, got it. If there's one that like you feel like you know what it's supposed to say, I would just fix it. And if there's one you don't understand, I would maybe like inquire about it specifically, be like, "Hey, it says this. What, should it say? Because that's not making sense to me." Um, or like worst case scenario, if people don't respond, then I just say, "Okay, then I'm just gonna read it exactly as it's written, and then you let me know later." So, um, but yeah, if it's an obvious one, I would say just go ahead and fix it yourself. And
okay,
then if it's one that you're unsure about, maybe just like write a quick note and be like, "Hey, it says this, um, but I'm not sure that's what it's supposed to say. I think it's a typo." And then, usually people will respond. But if for some reason you didn't get a response, then you just record it as written and then they'll tell you later if they want it changed. But especially since it's you also being, judged on the book that you put out, like I feel like it's pretty equally put on you to make it sound good and make sense. So, people expect you to make it sound good. So I like to just ask. But if it's obvious, I usually just fix it. And then I
yeah,
might let them know. I'll be like, hey, there was this little typo and I just fixed it. Um, but yeah, sometimes I just do it and then they don't say anything and it's good to go.
so this
So,
one sentence, it says set short-term challenges that can directly end with long-term goals for sustained growth.
I mean, I feel like it's like complicated the way it's said, but I think it works.
Want me to put it in the
Yeah.
chat so you can read it?
Yeah. I mean, 'cause like when you read it, I'm like, yeah, it like sounds a little bit like wordy, but like it still kind of works. So, but yeah, sometimes I'm just like, this is just really awkward. Like, because a lot of the time when you write something on paper, it might make sense, but when you say it out loud, it's like, I would never say
Yeah.
that. That short-term challenges that can directly, Mm. Yeah, it's like there's a word missing.
Yeah. That can,
Yeah. Uh, this might be like an autocorrect thing, like can directly aid or like can directly help with long-term goals. Like I feel like if you just change the and that
okay.
one word, it can fix it. Like set short-term challenges that can directly maybe just say help with long-term goals for sustained growth. It might have said aid and then been like an autocorrect thing. Because it seems like if you just change that one word, it makes sense. That
Yeah.
short-term challenge. That's why it was like it like almost works. Set short-term challenges that can directly help with long-term goals for sustained growth.
Okay.
I
So
think that would work.
I'll change and to help.
Yeah. I think it might have been like aid and then like autocorrect kicked in or something. Because it seems like that one word, if you just swap it, it makes sense. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but sometimes I'll just kind of like gloss over those and just read it if I'm not sure. So I'll just be like, set short-term challenges that can directly and with long-term goals for sustained growth. And I just like keep going and hope no one notices if I'm not sure. So as a narrator.
Okay.
Yeah. Was there another one you wanted us to look at?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
it's just a couple pages down from
sure.
here.
I've noticed too, sometimes like even with Grammarly and stuff, if it's like thinking too hard, it'll jumble things up and I'm like, well, that just made it worse.
Yeah.
Sometimes, those tools, like editing tools and things don't always help. Or it uses words that I'm like, that's such a weird word. Like, I would never say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you'll be typing and autocorrect just kicks in and you go back and you say, what? That's not what I was trying to type.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can't have that conversational tone. Doesn't let you.
Yeah. Guess it's not in this chapter. Let me go to the
Oh, that's
next.
okay. Yeah, if you like anything you find like that, if you just want to like text me, I
Okay.
can look at it too. That'll
Yeah.
be the fastest way for me to see it. But yeah, good question. Because it was like it's so close, but it's like it almost works, and then it's like something's weird with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like if I was gonna say it, I might say something like you can set short-term challenges for yourself that can directly help you with long-term goals for that sustained growth. So it's like it kind of makes sense, but it's like a little wordy and strange the way it's phrased. Yeah.
So this sentence,
Yeah.
it says Rome was built a day ago. Supposed to be Rome was not built a day ago.
What's the context? What happens before and after?
So the bullet point before it is patience is a virtue.
Ah,
Rome,
yeah, Rome was not. Yeah, I feel like that's obvious. Rome was not built a day
yeah,
ago. Yeah, so just adding not. You're right. I'm like, I mean, maybe they're like, you blink and time flies, like you'll
yeah,
miss it. Like, what are they trying to say here? But yeah, if they're telling you to be patient, it's like, hey, like It doesn't get built overnight.
And then this isn't a typo or anything, but it's
Yeah.
just I want to talk to you about how I read this in the
Sure.
appendix. So there's the habit tracker portion where it has like
Hmm.
the little chart, and
Hmm.
I'm reading it off, but it
Sure.
doesn't, because it's an audiobook. Normally you don't see the chart in front of you, so I just read it as
Yeah.
simple daily habit tracker. Habits. Day 1, day 2, day 3, morning routine, exercise, reading, water intake. I just read it exactly how, like, the order of the
Yeah.
word on the page.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like if it's something like a chart or like a picture example, you usually don't end up reading those for audiobooks. So if it's something like a diagram or picture examples, you usually just don't read them.
Okay. So should I just
If there's
edit
a
those
way
out?
to read it where it like feels like it really makes sense, like, but that's the tricky thing. Like on days 1, 2, and 3, you'll do these things, like you'll track these things. On days 4, 5, 6, track these. Like, but it's almost like you're writing the book then. So we usually just leave out pictures and diagrams and don't read those.
Okay. So should I just uh when I'm editing, should I just cut that part out?
Yeah, probably just
Okay.
because of the way the way that it is.
Yeah, and there's like the also the color coded habit tracker. So I read habits,
Yeah.
green, orange.
Hmm.
That's, if someone's listening, they're going to be like, "What is he going on about?"
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's more of a we just leave them out just
Okay.
because. Yeah, I would say I can't think of a single time when they've had me read any sort of charts out loud. Like they usually just always say like leave it out. If they want that, they'll get the one that they can look at. So, yeah. Because it,
And
it just doesn't really work. It doesn't really make sense?
yeah. Okay. The I think this is the last thing.
Yeah.
It's uh in the suggested reading list. The one of the books is The Simple Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and you have the word censored. So
Oh,
did you want me to say the word or just say, because I recorded it
yeah.
both ways?
Yeah, just go ahead and read it. I mean, it's
Okay.
it's an audiobook, so yeah, it's like start out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think they actually, if I'm correct, they might actually have published it that way. Yeah, they do. They star it out. So it's
Okay.
it's actually written that way, like in the title. But if you're doing it like auditorially, then yeah, you'll want to, yeah. So yeah, you'll just say it. But yeah, they have it start out in the actual title.
Okay. I
Cool. Good
do
questions.
thank you. I think that's
Awesome.
it.
Great. That's
And
fantastic.
I'm uh I'm currently working on, I've done all the edits for and the corrections for chapter 8, which is the longest chapter in the book.
Yeah.
So this is one is definitely taking me the longest out of everything, but I'm at the point where all I'm
Hmm.
doing left is just cutting out breaths. And
Hmm.
I took your advice during the editing. I did the um, noise reduction on a loud breath, and that really helped cut out a lot of the breaths automatically. So I'm not having to do
Nice.
nearly as much work.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Yay, it worked.
I hope to
Awesome.
be
Yeah,
done
that's a
with
nice
about,
little trick. And then even
yeah,
when you hear the breath, it's like subtle, right? It minimizes it. And I feel like it actually feels like more natural to hear a subtle breath, like a little, like a little hair's
yeah,
breath. Um, and yeah, I feel like that works really nicely. So I'm glad that that worked and that you're like, "Ooh, okay.
yeah.
Little cheat, a little hack for you." That's awesome.
So
Cool.
I think I'll be done with chapter 8 today and then get started on chapter 9, and which is not as long as chapter 8, but it is one of the longer ones.
Yeah.
So I'll work on that over the next day or so. And then once I'm done with
Mm-hmm.
that, I think the rest of it is just short, like just like 10 8-page chapters.
Mm-hmm.
There's chapter 10, which is, I think, 10 pages. The conclusion, that's 8 pages. The appendix, that's 8 pages. And then the note from the author, that's just one paragraph.
Yeah, right.
And then I've already recorded the closing. What do you call
Great.
that? The
Yeah, like the opening credits and closing
the
credits.
closing
I
credits.
usually like to do those very first thing, like, because otherwise sometimes I forget. And then I get to the end, I'm like, I'm done. And then I'm like, ah, rats. So I like to just do those very first thing because I
And
forget.
then the only thing left after that is the 5 minute sample.
Yeah.
And is there, if I were to choose myself, I would just do the first 5 minutes at the beginning of the book. But is there
Mhm.
something else that you wanted me to include for that 5 minutes?
No, not necessarily. Yeah, I usually, so the default, like for some websites, they just automatically use the first 5 minutes. So that's always a good rule of thumb is just to use that.
Okay.
So when in doubt, that's what I recommend is just do the first 5 minutes of it because that's the default for like iTunes and a lot of the websites too.
Okay.
So when in doubt, I think that's a good rule of thumb. So yeah, perfect. Great. So then did you want to work on something else today? Because it sounds like you've got a really good handle. It's not very much left. It's just like those fine tunings, like wrapping up kind of things.
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe audition for a new project? Do you want to work on something a little different in style? I know that you really like sci-fi, so we could look at maybe a sci-fi project.
I think what I want to do is this Friday, when I get paid, I'm going to get a Voice 123 subscription
Perfect. Yeah.
and start auditioning for like commercials and
Commercials and video games and
yeah,
characters from TV shows,
that's kind of the
YouTube
direction I want to
shows.
go in.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
eventually, once I've done like some of those, I want to start maybe like auditioning for some actual like
Mhm.
TV cartoons and start doing
Yes.
that.
I love it. Yeah. And I feel like Voice 123, I've talked to like I feel like for men, like they seem to do better or get like better opportunities on there from just people I've talked to, over the years. So I think that's a great one, a good option because it seems like they have a lot of opportunities for male voice actors. So I see like a lot more male voice actors like really do well there. So just from talking to different people. So like opportunities, I think they have a lot of good ones. So that's a great idea. So then do you want us to then work on some commercial scripts for today then?
Yeah, you sent me a few last week. We could go over those.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do the ones that you had. Have you been practicing them a little bit?
I haven't had a
That's
chance
okay.
to.
Yeah.
Okay, hold
So
on.
let's go ahead and do it now.
Okay, I need to let my cat out.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Wanna go out? I was talking to the cat.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't want to go out. He's just sitting by the door.
Oh, okay. He's like, I'm just chilling here. Alrighty, cool. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and pull up those scripts and dive in.
Okay. I'm gonna grab my water real quick.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, this is for Coca-Cola. The style is friendly and approachable.
Awesome.
There's nothing like an ice cold Coca-Cola. Whether it's game night, backyard barbecue, or just a moment to yourself, Coke makes every sip special. Grab one, grab one today and taste the feeling.
Nice. Yeah, and I feel like for that commercial style, like you've got the energy there, you're peppy, you're enthusiastic, you're welcoming. I feel like that all works really well. I would say for commercials, we're going to err towards being a little bit faster. So just always going for a little bit of a faster pace. Um, and I think it can be a little more like to keep that high energy and feeling like it's going somewhere. Doing more phrases every now and then that lift up at the end. So it feels like it's still going somewhere. So make sure that you do some phrases instead of like them all going down at the end, which is a very American habit.
Got it.
Lifting at the ends of some of the phrases as well. Can we try that?
Okay. There's nothing like an ice cold Coca-Cola. Whether it's game night, a backyard barbecue, or just a moment to yourself, Coke makes every sip special. Grab one today and taste the feeling.
Nice. Yeah, good. Yeah, it feels a little more like exclamation point at the end then. Nice, good. All right, so I want you to think about what are the key words that you want to emphasize here. So what would you say are like the main words you want to bring out for each phrase?
Let's see, ice cold,
Nice.
just a moment to yourself,
Okay.
special,
Okay.
taste the feeling. You're not just
Nice.
tasting the drink, you're tasting a feeling.
The feeling. Yeah. Leaning into that more. I love it. Good. So let's go ahead and try that again then. Bringing out those and having those strong points of view.
Okay. There's nothing like an ice cold Coca-Cola. Whether it's game night, a backyard barbecue, or just a moment to yourself, Coke makes every sip special. Grab one today and taste the feeling.
Nice. Good. Very good. How'd that feel?
Good. It feels kind of unnatural to end on like a higher, so it's kind of like
Okay. Well, then
hard for
let's
me to
descend
introduce
on that
myself.
last one.
Okay. Grab one today and taste the feeling.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So then, is there anything you would want to change about it?
Maybe go a little faster.
Okay.
There's nothing like an ice cold Coca-Cola. Whether it's game night, a backyard barbecue, or just a moment to yourself, Coke makes every sip special. Grab one today and taste the feeling.
Nice. All right. How'd that feel? I like that
Good.
better. That was my
Yeah.
favorite take so far.
Yeah, I think so.
Good. So who do you think your target audience is?
It's a pretty broad audience. I mean, definitely, I think there's more younger soda drinkers than there are older soda drinkers.
Mhm.
So, like, mostly like teens to 20-year-old, 20 somethings.
Yeah. Okay, good. And so what kind of music do you also feel like would be in the background here?
Maybe like some party music, like electronic dance music.
Okay, great. All right, so that kind of energy then. All right,
Yeah.
let's try it.
There's nothing like an ice cold Coca-Cola, whether it's a game night, backyard barbecue, or just a moment to yourself. Coke makes every sip special. Grab one today and taste the feeling.
Nice, good. Good. How'd that feel?
Good.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. So then, um, mm, I liked it. I thought it was great. So let's go ahead and keep that, and then let's work on a different one.
Okay, the next one is for Nike, and the style is inspirational and energetic.
Great. Do you want to give it a go? Just kind of see what we can come up with here.
Yeah, don't just run, fly. With Nike's ZoomX technology, you'll break boundaries, push limits, and conquer new goals. Because greatness isn't given, it's earned. Nike, just do it.
Nice. Good. So for this one, I could see them like using a professional athlete, like someone really strong and like disciplined, maybe a little more like serious, maybe thinking of like a coach kind of vibe. Um, so maybe like you're daring them, to do more. So thinking about like the tone of like a coach trying to motivate their, people on their team or um somebody who's a successful athlete trying to like mentor younger athletes, something like that.
Okay, don't just run, fly. With Nike's ZoomX technology, you'll break boundaries, push limits, and conquer new goals. Because greatness isn't given, it's earned. Nike, just do it.
Nice. Good. All right. So could I have you let's try to drop to a little bit lower. Um and I actually want you to slow just a little bit.
Okay, don't just run, fly. With Nike ZoomX technology, you'll break boundaries, push limits, and conquer new goals. Because greatness isn't given, it's earned. Nike, just do it.
Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Like I'm thinking of Nike commercials that I've seen and heard as well. And just kind of like the tone that they get. Like I could see the music, it's a little like it'll be more like disciplined and like steady rhythms and um, a little more of like that grind of like dedication and respect and so it just has like a little different vibe to the last one. So I felt like that was more along the lines of what I normally hear from Nike. And then they'll also have like dramatic pauses and they'll have like the athlete doing cool stuff like hitting tennis balls or like
Yeah,
doing a field goal or
slam dunk.
slam dunk, exactly. Yeah, like doing something really cool, or like a
Yeah,
three-pointer shot, or like slapping it into the net in hockey or something. They'll do like cool action shots in between. And so taking it a little bit slower where they can edit those in and stuff, I feel like is more Nike-esque. Um, just from what I've seen from them. So I like that better. I feel like we could kind of lean into those descriptive words more, kind of like stretch them, emphasize them a little bit more, like spotlight those. And um, yeah, I feel like we can like do a little bit more with those descriptive words. Can we try that again?
okay. Don't just run, fly. With Nike ZoomX technology, you'll break boundaries, push limits, and conquer new goals. Because greatness isn't given, it's earned. Nike, just do it.
Nice. How'd that feel?
Better.
Cool. Great. All right. So I liked it. Anything you'd want to change?
I don't think so. I think that was about how I would do it. Just like maybe if I was actually doing this, I would like try it a few different ways and like see which one goes best.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. All right. So I really like that. So why don't we go ahead and try the next script? Because did you have
Okay.
three?
Yeah.
Cool.
This one
So
is
let's
for
go ahead and try that. Yeah.
okay. This one is for State Farm,
Oh, great.
and the style is reassuring and professional.
Awesome.
Okay, I'm just gonna read through it real quick. At State Farm, we're more than just insurance. We're your neighbor, your partner, your friend. From auto to home to life insurance, we've got you covered. Like a good friend, State Farm is there.
Good. Yeah. For this one, I feel like um I would probably try to make it very like warm, connecting, like a good neighbor, you know, but also very capable and reliable and like someone you can trust and like look to in hard times, that kind of thing. Um, so thinking maybe a little bit more like warm, but also a little bit just like more solid feeling.
Okay. At State Farm, we're more than just insurance. We're your neighbor, your partner, your friend. From auto to home to life insurance, we've got you covered. Like a good friend, State Farm is there.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. That was good. So then could we maybe try like I'm thinking of like different insurance commercials, like Allstate has that like he seems like, a reliable uncle
Oh,
who's
yeah.
that like, you know, he's got that deeper voice. I don't know, like, like and you just feel like you're someone I could go to if I was in a tough spot, you know? So can we maybe try to like let's channel some of that in here?
Okay. At State Farm, we're more than just insurance. We're your neighbor, your partner, your friend. From auto to home to life insurance, we've got you covered. Like a good friend, State Farm is there.
Nice. Yeah, good. And then let's try it a little bit more like let's like kind of channel a few ideas from things like the guy who's just like disaster all the time and he's like raccoons in
Yeah.
the attic like
Yeah.
ugh, I hate him. But he makes an impact, right? I'm not gonna forget. So let's try a little more like him. Like
Yeah. At
things are
State
gonna get
Farm,
tough. That's the way life is. And
yeah.
we're here on those days.
Yeah. At State Farm, we're more than just insurance. We're your neighbor, your partner, your friend. From auto to home to life insurance, we've got you covered. Like a good friend, State Farm is there.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that one feels a little funky for this particular, script, but I thought we could try it. Let's try like Jake from State Farm. Like just
Okay.
really friendly.
Well, I think now the cat definitely wants to go out. Hold on one second.
No problem.
Okay. At State Farm, we're more than just insurance. We're your neighbor, your partner, your friend. From auto to home to life insurance, we've got you covered. Like a good friend, State Farm is there.
Nice. Good. All right. So yeah. So which did you like best and why? And I feel like a lot of this is gonna be like looking at the particular script and like the keywords they're using and who you kind of envision as your target audience.
I like the Jake from State Farm one because I
Yeah.
feel like this is like probably something that he would actually be reading.
hmm Great. Awesome. I agree. I felt like that was more the vibe, but I feel like we can learn things by trying other character inspirations as well. So that's where I
Yeah.
like to experiment a little bit. Nice. Okay. So then Good. Let's try it one more take and just like as if this was the recording take. Like this is your
Okay.
final take and you're just gonna nail it.
At State Farm, we're more than just insurance. We're your neighbor, your partner, your friend. From auto to home to life insurance, we've got you covered. Like a good friend, State Farm is there.
Nice. Good. How'd that feel?
Good.
I agree. Yeah, that was really nice. Good. So, what would you say is a number one takeaway from all of these commercials? What's like a key takeaway that just generally with commercials you want to remember?
Know your target audience.
I agree. I think that's a good one. Yeah. What would you say is maybe the number one thing that was the most fun that you did?
Um, I like doing the Coca-Cola one. I like the high energy type of
Mhm.
vibe.
Nice. Yeah, love it. And then what would you say is maybe, uh, what would you say is maybe the thing you felt yourself improve on the most?
I feel like the Nike one,
Yeah.
from how I started to how I finished.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And then, what would you say is maybe your number one goal for this week?
But this week, definitely finishing the book.
Yeah. Which I think you've got a really clear vision. You know exactly what you need to do. It's just those like small little tune up, clean up things right at the end, just a few small things and you'll be good to go. So, but I know like they can be little things and you'll be like, oh, that took a lot of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're so close. The finish line is like within your sight. It's right
Yeah.
there. So, getting that finished, I think is a great idea. And then if you have the time, I would love to have you record these commercial scripts as well to get,
Yeah.
like updated examples of what you're doing and to have new clips that you can put on your websites, your profiles, maybe putting together a more updated commercial reel. So I'd love for you to do that if you have the time. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Nice work today, Robert.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, have a good rest of your week and I'll see you soon. I'm excited to listen to the book when you're done.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye, Robert.